Good evening and welcome to Drew's Book Reviews. So tonight we are reviewing The Blood Mirror by Brent. This is the fourth book in the Lightbringer series. But before we get into that, tell you a bit of a funny story. You see, I was reading The Blood Mirror here, and about halfway through, as I was taking a look at my list of upcoming books that I'm going to read, I realized something. I haven't actually read book 3 of The Lightbringer yet. You see, I thought I had because book 4, The Blood Mirror, was actually on my list next to read. I didn't realize I had put book 4 on the list ahead of book 3 until I was halfway through book 4. So that's kind of funny. Which, as I was reading the book, I kind of realized, well, it's making sense why some things have happened, or the story seemed to be so much farther ahead than it was in book 2. Because I hadn't actually read book 3. So we're going to kind of get the reviews in reverse order here with book 4 today and book 3 as soon as I am done that. So for those of you that don't know about the Lightbringer series by Brent Weeks, it's a really unique take on a magical system that I find actually really, really cool and awesome. The idea is the magical system within this world that he's created is based off of the light spectrum itself. Which everybody has the different ability to draft different wavelengths of light, different colors of light throughout the color spectrum, and the power that controls the world is known as the chromaria. And drafters are the magic users in this world. We've got red drafters and ultraviolet drafters and blue drafters and green drafters and yellow drafters, black and white drafters, so forth and so on. Which is really cool. So what they do is they actually have the ability to convert light or different colors of light in the spectrum into solid matter called luxin. And they do this to create objects and control the world around them. But of course, with each color or drafting comes different levels of power. So you get stronger and weaker drafters. But each individual color itself also has its own unique set of strengths and weaknesses, right? So that way we don't have one person that's just like super crazy, all powerful. And the head of the ruling class, or the head of the world order, the chromaria, is essentially the prism, whose sole job is to keep the powers of magic in balance so that the world doesn't get destroyed. And he does that by effectively being the only person in the world who has the ability to draft and control all colors in the color spectrum. So what his job is to draft more or less of different colors within the spectrum in order to maintain an equal balance within the world so the world itself doesn't become destroyed. Now, the really interesting thing is the prison within this book. He's a prism, but he's not. So he has control of everything, but not, because essentially his name is Gavin, but he's actually Davin, his brother. Which is really interesting because what happened was earlier in the story, if you haven't read the earlier books and don't know about the history here, is that Davin Guile, who's the false prism, actually killed his brother, Gavin Guile, who's the true prism, and essentially has spent his life imitating Gavin Guile and being the prison that he's not. And so what we learned in earlier books was that he had, in fact, imprisoned his brother in these prisons made from the drafted luxin of all the different colors of the color spectrum, and effectively imprisoned his brother. Now, in book 4, and I'm focusing on this aspect because I think it's the most unique. There's certainly a lot more to the story between the other characters within the book, but in book 4 specifically, Davin, or Gavin as he's been going by, finds himself in the prison of his own make. And so he finds himself confined in this prison with no way out. And that's a really unique aspect of this, really interesting as we go through the book and we try to figure out, well, Is he sane? Is he not? And we don't know what's going on. We know what's going on, but he is trying to figure out everything that's happened in the past, and whether the past as he remembers it is really the past that actually happened. And as he's imprisoned within a prison of his own making, not just literally, but also very figuratively, a prison of his mind and what he's become. And it's just absolutely fascinating to read this and really see how he goes through that, how he's figuring everything out, and what he's learning about himself and who he really is, which is just really, really awesome and definitely well worth checking into and reading this series. And this book particularly was about that. But there's so much more to it, and I don't want to get too much into detail because I don't want to inadvertently give away any spoilers about what happens. But it's definitely a fascinating concept in the way that these characters are exploring the inherent ideas to who they really are and what kind of person they are, and a journey of self-discovery, I guess, is a really good way to put that. But also within this world is this idea that this drafting can actually cause people to go insane. And it's called breaking the halo, and they become whites. Now, that's like WIGHT as opposed to the color white. And they, in effect, become insane when they draft too much, and it overpowers them and becomes insane. And that's part of what Gavin has spent his life doing, is hunting down these whites and killing them and ridding the world of whites because they're such a danger to everything. And that is just playing into the storyline that goes into this book about who he really is. And it's really interesting to see that happen and how that ties into some of the aspects of his own magic and his own unique abilities, which I think is absolutely really, really cool. And of course, we got some other big players in there. Of course, we got Karis White Oak, and we've got Gavin's father as well, Andros Guile, and we've got Kip Guile in there as well, and a few other characters in there with some interesting subplots and storylines and their own unique positions of power within this book and the cultural and political dynamic. And we see Kip, who is becoming this military commander and winning those to his cause. And overall, I think this is just a really good series and a really good read. I kind of wish I'd figured out that I'd read book 4 first earlier, but alas, sometimes that just doesn't happen. And oops, bookworm problems. But anyway, definitely, I don't think that really spoiled it too much for me, but I'm really looking forward to going back now and reading book 3 to kind of learn about everything that led up to the events in book number 4, The Blood Mirror. So definitely this series is well worth the read, but don't do what I did. Make sure you actually read it in order, book 1, 2, 3, 4, not 1, 2, 4, 3. But yeah, definitely well worth it, and I definitely recommend it. I'm really enjoying Brent Weeks. He seems to be a really good writer, and his books are just really well done, and I really like it. I don't have a lot of bad things to say about it, so yeah, just definitely check it out and enjoy. And also, of course, don't forget to subscribe below and comment below, and also don't forget to follow me on my blog and Facebook page. Links will be in the description below, but of course, facebook.com/drewsbookreviews and andrewsbookreviews.wordpress.com. Again, thanks so much for watching, and I hope you're having a great night, and I look forward to reviewing book 3 for you. And thanks so much for watching. You have yourself a great night. And of course, before I go, book 3 is The Broken Eye, which is actually great now that I'm thinking about it. Broken Eye is a key pivotal role in this story. Broken Eye is actually a secret organization, kind of akin to the Illuminati, you might say. So I'm really looking forward to seeing more about the Broken Eye and the secret organization in book 3 that I guess I should have read first. But anyway, again, thanks for watching and enjoy, and don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe below.